Why did 17 vanish? And one stay? Let's find out in today's recap, only here on Everyday Movie Recap. Today's film is Weapons 2025, a dark drama that feels a little too real because it's based on true events. The story begins with Justine Gandy, a teacher at Maybrook Elementary. On what seemed like a normal Wednesday, she walked into her classroom expecting chaos, but every desk was empty. Her class wasn't completely empty though. One boy, Alex, showed up. For some reason, he was the only one who didn't join the others. Because at exactly 2:17 a.m., 17 kids had slipped out of their homes one by one, like a midnight field trip, and never came back. The whole town fell into grief. Police launched a full search and rescue, and evidence confirmed the same chilling truth. Alarms and cameras showed the kids leaving their homes at exactly 2:17 a.m. Investigators turned to Alex, the only one left. But when asked why his classmates disappeared, he simply said he didn't know. And when pressed if it was planned, he insisted he never heard a word about it. Even their teacher, Justine, was questioned, but like Alex, she had no answer. For an entire month, the school was shut down as the investigation dragged on. Eventually, it reopened, and on the very first day back, a school meeting was held, and that's when the real story began. One of the parents finally spoke up.
Why just her classroom? Why only her?
Then Justine finally spoke, simply saying,
I just want to say how very sorry I am for all of what's happened. I know there's nothing I can say to make this better. The truth is that I want an answer just as bad as all of you.
Even though she knew nothing, there was nothing Justine could do. Angry parents blamed her for the kids' disappearance, forcing her to leave the meeting. They followed, but co-teachers blocked the way. Later, she went to the liquor store and grabbed 2 bottles after the death threats. Liquid therapy was a must. Before she could pay, another threat made her rush to her car, paranoia kicking in like a horror sequel. The doorbell rang. Nobody was there. Again, she grabbed a taser, stepped outside, still nothing. Then she saw her car, spray painted with "Witch." The next morning, Principal Marcus told her to keep her distance from school. She couldn't speak to Alex either. He was still traumatized from police and media questioning. With nowhere left to turn, she had no choice but to leave. With nothing left to do, Justine could only cry over everything happening in her life. She reported the vandalism on her car to the police. That evening, she went to a bar with Paul, a police officer, who asked how she was holding up. That's when she admitted it. Everyone was starting to think she was a witch. The next morning, they were together in the car, talking about the 17 missing children. Justine tried to get information from Paul since he was a police officer, but he told her to take it easy and let the police do their job. Then he casually added that he was glad to see her again. Let's see what your girlfriend would say if she knew you were glad to spend the night with your ex, you idiot. Even though the principal had forbidden her from talking to Alex, Justine ignored the order. She watched him at school, followed the school bus, and even tracked him on the way home. When she knocked on the house, no one answered. Peeking through a window blocked by newspapers, she strained to see inside and noticed 2 people sitting quietly in the room. She felt that something creepy was happening inside the house. In the car, she called Paul and told him how bizarre Alex's house seemed, hinting she wanted to investigate. Paul warned her to leave Alex alone, but she didn't listen. Later that same day, she went back to the liquor store only to be confronted by Paul's girlfriend Donna, who attacked her and doused her with alcohol. That night, Justine dreamed she was back at the school, standing in her empty classroom. All the missing students were there, heads bowed, silent, except for one. Alex had a smile so unnervingly creepy it froze her in place. She woke up immediately, heart racing, terrified by what she had just seen. The next day, Justine finally spoke to Alex. He told her simply not to follow him. Stubborn as ever, Justine spent the night outside Alex's house. That's when a woman appeared, holding scissors. She stopped at Justine's car, and before Justine even noticed, deep asleep, her hair was cut. Honestly, she's out here playing detective and snoring like she's in a pillow commercial. Classic. In the next scene, we see Archer, one of the parents of the missing children, watching the last CCTV footage of his kid. By morning, he leaves the house and heads off to work, presumably trying to act like everything is normal while, his child is currently starring in a real-life mystery. Archer shows up at the police station, hoping for news, but, surprise, nothing. He's convinced the teacher knows something about his missing child and the others, digging up a DUI, her past firing for inappropriate behavior, and labeling her troubled. Later that night, he's in the room when he sees Matthew. He calls out, but the kid bolts toward the house. While watching, he notices something at 217A, MA figure on the roof. Matthew runs inside, down the dark hallway, calling for his child. Turning the doorknob, he sees Matthew staring silently at him. Then a weird female face appears, and just like that, it was all a dream. The next day, he starts digging into his child's disappearance. He rings the doorbell of another parent, hoping to see their CCTV footage, but the mom refuses, so Archer waits. Eventually, the dad comes home from work and finally, he lets Archer watch the footage. While investigating, he spots the teacher driving toward the gas station. He corners her, ready to confront, but she just tells him he's barking up the wrong tree. Then, out of nowhere, the school principal comes charging at her, clearly with murder on his mind. Thankfully, Archer is there to step in and help. She manages to dash into the store and hide while Archer handles Marcus. Next, Paul is chasing a drug addict named James, eventually pinning him and putting him in handcuffs. While checking his stuff, he gets pricked by a syringe. In a moment of panic, Paul smacks James unbeknownst to him, dashcam rolling. Naturally, paranoia sets in about infection, so he reports everything to the sheriff, who just so happens to be Donna's dad. The sheriff assures him he's fine, unless James decides to make a formal complaint. Despite his earlier freakout over the syringe, Paul meets up with the teacher later, and let's just say their night was intense and possibly contagious. Desperate for cash, James breaks into Alex's house and immediately regrets it. Alex's parents are slumped on the sofa, motionless, bruised, eyes wide. In the basement, all 17 kids are the same. Normally clueless, James knows this is serious. There's a $50,000 reward for finding them, but he doesn't want to deal with the cops, so he goes in person. Paul spots him, assumes he's snitching, and gives chase. When James finally explains,
I know who those kids are! That fucking Lyle's coming to stay here with.
Paul goes to check it out. Big mistake. Black magic hits the moment he steps inside, possesses him, and drags James in. Let's rewind and see why Marcus attacked Justine. Rewind to when Marcus gets a call from Justine, telling him to check out Alex's house. She suspects something's off. The next day, he calls to talk to Alex's parents, but surprise, it's not them who show up. It's Alex's aunt, Gladys. He tells Gladys he needs to speak with Alex's legal guardians, but she insists they're too sick to talk. She adds, rather dramatically, that it's all very upsetting. The next day, Gladys shows up at Marcus' house, asking if she could get some water. While in the kitchen, she requests a bowl of water and casually asks if he's contacted CPS yet. When Marcus says not yet, we get a chilling revelation. She knows black magic. Apparently, a witch can put a curse on you using some of your belongings. She cuts her hand with something from Marcus and even takes some hair from his housemate. She's got Marcus under her control thanks to his own belongings. The trick? She only needs the victim's hair. Wrap it together with Marcus stuff around a wooden stick, and she can make him do anything. That's exactly what she does next. Using the teacher's hair, wrapped with Marcus things on the stick, she commands him and Marcus runs straight toward the teacher's location, ready to kill, just like he did with his housemate. After all the chaos, which Gladys simply walked out of the house as if nothing had happened, while Marcus charged forward, eyes wild, every step predatory, like a starving animal scenting its next meal. His eyes are unnaturally wide, frozen, every blink gone, face twisted into pure menace. He lunged at the teacher, his movements sharp and violent, completely under Gladys' control. Archer manages to slow him down briefly, but possession gives Marcus the upper hand. He's about to strike when Archer pushes into the fridge. She escapes in her car, but Marcus is still chasing. Out of nowhere, he crashes into someone, and his brain is scattered across the street. In the hospital, Archer and the teacher meet. She thanks him for saving her earlier, and he checks if she's okay. Looks like they're civil now. She admits that the last time they spoke, Marcus seemed fine. She'd never seen him like that before. Archer tells her he has. The way Marcus ran was identical to something he'd seen once. A girl running the exact same way, same posture. He explains his investigation, and she pieces it together. Everything points to Alex's house. In a flashback, Alex, a quiet boy, sits in class while his classmates bully him. His dad picks him up and mentions that Aunt Gladys is coming to stay. At home, his mom tells him to clean his room. That night, Aunt Gladys arrives, and his dad helps her move her belongings into the house. The next morning, Alex's mom and dad discuss their visitor. Alex wanders into Aunt Gladys' room and spots a wig and a bonsai tree. Their eyes meet. Gladys looks terribly ill. The next day, Alex's dad drops him off at school. But after class, no one comes to pick him up, which feels very strange. Alex ends up going home alone. When Alex arrives home, he notices his parents acting completely off, like they're possessed. He even throws water in his dad's face, but nothing happens. They're just staring into nothing. Strangest of all, Aunt Gladys, who seemed on the brink of death this morning, now appears terrifyingly strong. She warns Alex not to tell anyone that she's in their house or what's happening there. This is the same black magic she used on Marcus, now a tool of intimidation to ensure he can't reveal anything. Terrified, Alex promises he won't tell a soul. Aunt Gladys, very ill, used young people to keep herself alive. Sucking the life from Alex's parents wasn't enough. She still felt weak days later. She didn't kill them, but left them motionless. We then learn she asked Alex to bring objects from his classmates, which is how she made all the kids run off in the middle of the night. Aunt Gladys promised Alex that once she recovered, she would leave their house. The next day, Alex began gathering his classmates' belongings. While busy taking the nameplates from their boxes, he unknowingly helped her plan unfold. Alex rode the bus and ran to Aunt Gladys, handing over all the nameplates. At 2:17 a.m., he woke to see her performing black magic. When she rang the bell, it triggered the kids to run just like Marcus had run toward Justine. Aunt Gladys waited for them, and Alex watched as all the children ran straight into her trap. The next morning, he went to school and every single classmate was gone. Alex can do nothing but lie to the authorities who would believe in black magic anyway. With his parents' lives on the line, all he can do is act normal, going to school as if everything's fine. He keeps feeding both his parents and the trapped kids. That day, when he arrives home, he sees a policeman inside and immediately knows they're all under the witch's control. Two former enemies, now uneasy allies, watch Alex's house. She notices Paul and the two decide to barge in. Inside, she sees Paul and crosses the salt, making the controlled people erupt like raging animals. Justine tries to run from Paul, but he's out of control. She grabs a fruit peeler and swings it at his face, but it barely slows him. He proceeds to choke her. She manages to grab Paul's gun and shoots him. With no other choice, she fires at all the possessed people in the house. Alex crosses the salt, breaking the protective barrier. His parents, now under Gladys' control, rush toward him. Realizing how Aunt Gladys' black magic works, he copies her method, grabs one of her wooden sticks, and runs to the bathroom. He cuts his finger on the stick, setting the ritual in motion. He breaks the stick, and the possessed children come running after Aunt Gladys. She flees for her life, but she knows how powerful the black magic is. There's no escaping them. The kids attack, tearing her apart one by one. What in the world? This is like Green Inferno. Finally dead, everyone under her control is freed. Justine finds Alex while Archer searches for his son. She sees Alex hugging his parents. Archer runs over and embraces Matthew. The other children stare at Aunt Gladys' lifeless body. Alex's parents are no longer raging animals, but their souls seem empty. He holds them tightly. Some of the previously possessed students manage to speak, though the trauma is clear. Thanks for watching the full recap. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and comment below if you have any movie or series suggestions.